Good morning. I am actually wearing an apron for a change. I always forget I have this. It is actually was my Mima's. And I just knew she probably had one and ended up asking if I could just have one of hers. Always good to reuse rather than to go out and buy one, right? So I figured I've been doing so much cooking that I should go ahead and start using one. So we have the uncooked tofu, and we're gonna go ahead and turn the skillet on. We are cooking the tofu this morning so we can go ahead and have our breakfast sandwich. I have the English muffin already defrosted and in the fridge. I'm so excited to finally try those. If I like it, I'm thinking I'm gonna make another batch before I have a trip I'm going on, and I'm thinking that before I go on it, I might actually make another batch if I like it and go ahead and put them in my freezer for when I get back, because why not? Do what I can to be stocked. I actually want to make more vegetable broth as well, and I want to try doing dehydrated oranges and decorate with them. So that's another project we've got. I also want to test out this one, it's called a sugar plum berry. It's kind of, that's what it's based off of. It's this, basically you take nuts and fruit, and it's a very, you really had to, I had to read the recipe to really make sure I got all the right ingredient. It called for prunes or plums, but I could not find, I wanted to get plum, but I could not find plum, so we had to just go with prunes, but we're not going to tell anybody that if we end up actually going ahead and doing this. I want to test it out because I'm thinking about doing it as a Christmas gift. The cool part is you granulate it in sugar. So that's why I really wanted to test it out, to see if this could be a possible Christmas idea or not. So we will see. I also want to make some granola bars. I'm thinking that depending on how many granola bars this makes, I'm going to cut them in half and save some of them for this week and then have some of them in the freezer. I am really trying to do a lot of just finding ways to save money, cooking. I was actually thinking I might watch a movie this afternoon. I do have a meeting at 11, so I have to keep an eye on that. So we're probably only going to make this morning. This is kind of what it's looking like. It is not looking super, crazy or anything. Just cooking, and then we'll flip it. So I cut them up a little bit smaller than I think the recipe calls for, but I think I did that the last time too, because it's just kind of that whole, you want it to last as long as you possibly can. And I also, when I went to the farmers, we had our last Christmas farmers market this past Saturday, and I really wanted to try to get any vegetables I could there. There really weren't a lot. And so I got some lettuce, but the lettuce was looking a little sad. So I'm going to try to do some kind of playing around to see if I can make it a little better looking. So we'll see. I'm also drinking my tea, but I wanted to go ahead and get on this because I've been moving a little slow this morning. I woke up a little later too, but I actually went to my cousin's wedding Saturday, which was so fun. A lot of crying, but so much fun, and it was crazy to think about how old we're getting, but also I was just so happy for her. Man, all that dancing it wears you down once you get to be mid-20s, 30 and above. It's you gotta be careful. So just for reference, also I'm still in my pajamas. I was like, my hair does not look great right now, but that's sometimes how it goes, where it's like I just get up and go. I will say, like, technically you're supposed to only use like 2 tablespoons of the tofu scramble, but because I just want to have it all cooked, I just threw it all in the tofu, and so that's okay though, because honestly it's probably gonna be so much better. You can use I don't know how many of you guys know what black salt is, but it's also called calamari. I do not know if I pronounced that right. But it's kind of like some sort of like, I think, I am not sure if this is like completely right, but this is like what I think is what it's used in a lot of like Asian dishes. Because I know there's a person I follow called Cheap Lazy Vegan, and she uses a lot of, like, she puts that in a lot of her dishes. But there is no Asian store around here where I live, so, and black salt is also really expensive from what I know. So I just use a little bit of salt. I don't think I even used as much as the recipe calls for with the black salt. But basically the black salt is supposed to make the tofu taste more like regular eggs. So that is kind of like the purpose, but I don't really care because, like, you know, I'm going to add sauce on it. I'm going to have a little fun and add vegetables. So it's like, most of the time I don't even notice the difference. And I was like never a big egg girl to begin with. Like, I like deviled eggs and maybe a couple of other things, but eggs were kind of like that thing I had to be in the mood for. So that's how I am with like certain tofu. With tofu sometimes too. I think I've only really gotten in the mood for tofu because of the fact that I've been trying to find ways, trying to eat less like processed vegan meat. So I think that's why I've eaten more tofu. I do need to get a plate out. Fast, Easy, Cheap Vegan book by Sam Turnbull. I've never seen like any YouTube videos by him, so I don't know if he does a YouTube, but I will like link his Amazon, like the Amazon for his book below if you. I honestly have been getting really into cooking. I am really excited to try the dehydrated oranges. I have never done that before, but I finally decided that this was the year I was gonna do it, and I'm thinking like that I'm gonna do it like this afternoon, and we'll watch like a fun movie. I've been really wanting to watch While You Were Sleeping, because that like just looks like one of those Christmas like movies that like not a lot of people think of as a Christmas movie, but actually can be. And so I decided that I think I'm gonna watch that if I can find it, and then if I can't find it, I will figure something else out. But I do need to make the dehydrated oranges, so we might do that this morning just so they have time to cool. I actually do have some twine because I love when I go to a thrift store looking in their art section and like craft section and finding all of their like seeing if there's anything that I just know that I could definitely use at home. I need to put some more olive oil in this. I definitely am going crazy on this. And just for reference, the recipe does say you can use olive oil or butter. I actually chose to go ahead and do butter this time. I just thought it would be better for the tofu. I don't know. I think because it was a breakfast sandwich, it just sounded so much yummier to do butter rather than, you know, olive oil. But honestly, it's looking like it's almost done. I just added a little bit more butter because it is getting very like black in some places, but I think it's just because of the seasoning. I've been getting really into this one YouTuber who she does she actually does a lot of things with like hot cocoa, like granola bars. And I'm like, man, I want some of that. Sometimes I will find a YouTuber that I just want to watch for hours. Which is like, I don't know. Like, do you guys ever feel that way? But yeah, I'm also going to make more veggie stuff because I really want to make sure to get all my veggies out, all my veggie stuff done, but I want to make sure to go ahead and make my chili beforehand because I have some vegetables to cut up and I want to make sure I include them in the veggie stuff. So we might not make that today, we might make it tomorrow. So this might be like, you know, a couple of days of cooking, which I think would be fun. Here's how the first batch of tofu turned out. And then this one does kind of look a little sadder, but honestly, even a little bit of the blackened tofu is not going to be, but so it's still going to be good. You're going to add the sauce on it and the veggie, whatever veggies you want, and it would still be good. People like give such a downer about tofu, but honestly, if you cook it the right way, like I even have tried like making it, I've even followed recipes for cooking it in the oven. And if you get it like, cook it for about an hour and then like flip it halfway through. Now you do have to season it, of course, but like, I mean, you do that, it gets so crispy. It's so good. I don't worry so much about it being crispy for stuff like, you know, breakfast, because like you want it to be more like softer, like it to be more like an egg. But if you want it to be like a dinner, cook it for like an hour and flip it halfway through, season it first. It's so good. I'm gonna go take this and put this here, and we're gonna check the book. There you go. We've got cuties that I'm trying to use up. That's what they call them anyway. But for some reason, I really like these. And I like that I can just like, if I want to, just eat 2 at a time. And so I have one of these. And I also have the sandwich, which looks beautiful. We got 2 pieces of the tofu, the English muffin, which doesn't not look like wonderful. It's not like as crispy as I thought it would be because I did decide to try putting it in toaster. It did not get as crispy as I thought it would be, but I also only put it at like number 2 because I was like wanted to be careful. And I got a little creative and decided that I wanted to add a little feta on there, like vegan feta that I have. I have a lot of cheeses to use up. I did not realize that when I went and brought some like cheese at the grocery store, but at the same time, I want to make chili today, and mozzarella cheese and feta cheese don't really make sense for chili. So then I also added some sriracha and some lettuce. I think I overdid it on cutting the lettuce, so I actually think we might have to cut up all of the lettuce that I have and do a little like prepping work so that it'll be good to just keep in the, you know, last longer, because I feel, you know, for some reason vegetables are just so much better if you cut them up and you have them like prepped and ready to go. So let's see how this is. First off, I think the English muffin tastes exactly like one you would buy in the store, just so much cleaner. And then also, I think you could easily add, like, if you wanted to, like, flavor it a little bit more, you could. Like, if you wanted to make it, like, everything bagel seasoning, English muffins or something, you totally could. I just did the basic one because that's usually what I buy in the store anyways, because I like to add my stuff on there or do some jam or whatever, and I don't want to go crazy. but it might be fun to try. And I only did like 2 slices of the tofu, and honestly, I think the feta adds a nice touch with the sriracha. So I am like impressed with that because I wasn't sure how that would go down, but I think it like does just the right amount of like cheesy and hot kind of like I don't know if that makes sense at all, but it's very good. But I'm gonna eat this and I will see you guys later. Bye. We are back and I got 4 oranges. I wasn't really sure how many I would want to get, but I'm thinking for now this will be enough and we'll test out. It's just life sometimes, right? Got them. They're safe. They're just gonna be decoration anyways. So, in order to do them in the oven, I don't have a dehydrator, sadly. So, but honestly, I'll use a dehydrator like once a year. So, I mean, an oven works. And you have to do it for several hours. So, the recipe says it should take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. So we're going to go ahead and get started because my hope is that I can actually like work on this afternoon while watching a movie. And I've been like really wanting to watch While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock. I just am feeling the vibe for that movie right now. And so I am thinking we're going to test out this. I've been really wanting to try this forever, but I just never gave it a chance. And, you know, this is the year. So, it says to, like, kind of block them or whatever, you know, where you try to, like, make sure to get some of the juice out. We're gonna cut them and then put them on parchment paper. So, I will show you what it's gonna look like before and after, because 3 to 5 hours is a lot. And so we have to set the oven for 200 to 225. If you guys have ever tried this, let me know if you have done other things. I would love to do a more simpler recipe that is not so long, but you know what? This is more eco-friendly, more fun, I feel like, and I've been trying to explore doing some other like decoration thing rather than always buying Christmas gifts, like then, you know, doing not like, I don't know, I just want to do more like fun Christmas decorations where like you can make them yourself rather than having to buy them out in the store and then like you don't even know if you're gonna use them every year. So yeah, let's get to it. It's not going very well. The oranges are kind of falling apart, but oh well. I also never buy oranges for like food. Like I like those cuties, but I love that they're so easy to open, and like I know they're very common to buy for children for that reason. That's how I roll. These are not really something I ever buy. I do love the blood oranges. I could not find any at the grocery store, but you know what? We're still gonna test it out. I have my oven preheated, and I'm gonna just keep trying. Maybe as I keep cutting, maybe I should just be like cutting. Oh yeah, it's definitely gotten better. Maybe it was just the first couple of rounds. I'm glad I brought like more than one because, you know, you just don't know. All right, I might go ahead and start cutting some of these on the parchment paper. Okay, so I did find out that I do have to use the oven for this recipe too, mostly just to toast the nuts. I I meant to buy more almonds at the store, but somehow I forgot. But I also had a really long grocery list. I thought that pecans would be really good because I had a lot left over from making a pecan pie. And so I thought that would be good. And I felt like that would be more like Christmassy, which is the whole, like, it's supposed to be some sort of like Christmassy. The whole idea is for them to be these sugar plum berries, kind of like the Nutcracker. And so we are going to figure out. We're going to wait for the oranges to be finished, but we're going to get the nuts ready so that I can do this, because I also want my friend to taste test tomorrow because I need some. I'm sure I want to test them for myself, and I want to see what other people think. I have a meeting with another friend on Friday, so I can see what they think as well. I'm trying to like get some taste testers, see what they think, as well as see what I think, because I just want to, before I make this for an actual like Christmas dish, want to kind of like get some like clarifications of like, yes, do this or not. And so that's kind of the plan. I honestly think I might just wait and do the granola bars tomorrow, because I'm thinking this afternoon we'll watch the movie and do my orange slices, because that just sounds fun. I want to like even maybe try to hang it up. I have a couple of ideas of where I want to hang it up at, but honestly, I wouldn't mind getting more oranges, but we'll see. Or maybe just do it again next year. This has like dried fruit in it as well as plums, but I couldn't find plums, and it said you could do prunes, which is like not, I don't know. Some people might like prunes. I have never really been like big on prunes. I just am like kind of like, it just sounds like it, like if you look at the picture of it, it looks so pretty and so cute. Plus you can put it in granulated sugar. You also do dried cranberries and dried cherries, which I'm like, the prunes are mostly just to get the purple color, and that's kind of what the point of the plums were. I would have liked to have done plums because I feel like that just would have been yummier. But you know what? My Meemaw always had figs and plums in her, pantry, and well, go ahead. We will do it for her. Here are the dried oranges. I did have to do it for like 10 more minutes. I think we'll make my oven a little hotter next time, but I was a little unsure. So we're gonna let them cool off. I will say some of them still look like they have some juice, whereas others, like this one, that one looks like super dry. And honestly, I can't figure out whether, because you can feel the juice a tiny bit, but otherwise they're dry. But I've also never made this, so we'll just roll with it.
Actually, it was a globe with a light in it. But for the romantic that he was, it might as well have been the world.